I've got quite a bit of Starlink content on the channel, as some of you probably know, but the Gen 2 installation, and then when I had to convert up to the Gen 3, I've covered that quite extensively with the installation, a lot of details, but I've actually got a Starlink Mini. I just haven't covered it yet on the channel. There's quite a few videos out there, and didn't want to be kind of white noise with everybody else doing that. I do have some ideas that I want to use this for that's a little less mainstream, and I needed to have some certain accessories with this to make that happen. My use case is going to be a little more industrial or commercial rather than taking it camping or on the road with me when I'm just doing a road trip. And one of the challenges that I had with my use case for how I want to use this in my industrial or my business world is I don't always have power at the locations that I'm at. If I'm at a new startup for a new piece of industrial equipment, and I needed to be able to power this thing without having a grid power. And it was actually reached out by a company called DAQA that has a solution that I think is going to work out really well for me. Let me get into that in this video. I'm going to show you how that works. I've done some extensive testing. If you've seen my reviews on other equipment, you know that I don't just take the vendor's word for it. I do some pretty extensive testing to validate their claims. I've done some power tests for capacity, and it's worked out pretty well. So let me get in to show you what I'm talking about. See if this may be the right thing for you and your use case. And then moving forward, I am going to do some more content on this. But for this first stage, I needed to get a power solution for this, and I think I found the one that's going to work out well for me. One of the advantages of this new one is the way that it mounts your dish. So when you get your new dish, if you're familiar with the Starlink Mini, all it does is come with this little kickstand. It's got to sit straight down in the dirt, which is not ideal. If you're out, if it's a wet climate or a lot of dirt, dust, I don't really want this thing just sitting in the dirt. So one of the advantages to this new system that I've got is it actually gets it up off the ground. It's a tripod. You don't need to use the power connections for it. All this stuff becomes obsolete. You do need to use the mount, and I'm going to show you how to use that. Alright, so this is the really compact unit. Comes in a nice little carrying case. Pull up a screenshot of the advertisement page for this. You can get this off of Amazon. There'll be some links below down in the description. The company called DAQA, DAQA, and this is the little unit that they sent me. Now they did send this, didn't charge me anything for it. I told them, I was very upfront with them. I said I do pretty thorough testing, so if it's not going to live up to the expectations, my viewers are going to hear about it. So they were cool with that. They sent it over, and I have gone back and forth there, making sure I had all my technical questions answered to my satisfaction. And so let's take a look at what you get in the box here, or the package. It's not a stiff case, but it's fairly firm, so it does offer some protection for the unit. So open this up. You got a little pouch here for keep some of your accessories. A couple of the cables that it comes with. Comes with a little power bank. This is a 65-watt USB power bank. It's got a standard USB-A and a USB-C output. This one says it'll do PD 65-watt / 45-watt, and then this standard USB-A says it'll do 15 watts. I have charged it several times with this, and it does charge pretty quickly. It doesn't really have a good place to keep this in the package, but I think I found a solution for that I'll show you in a minute here. But so there's your power bank. It does also come with a USB-C to USB-C cable for plugging into that charger. And then, of course, you get the small cable that plugs into the power bank, and then this end plugs into your dish. And we'll demonstrate that, of course. So a little Velcro strap holds it in, so it's nice and compact. Down here on the bottom, this is a metal. I want to say it's probably aluminum. I'm 100% certain of that, but it feels like aluminum. It's very well built. These legs are really solid. They just fold out. It's got a screw end on that screws into the bottom of the power bank. But that will give you a nice secure base. It's pretty wide. So if you're setting this thing out, if there's any wind or anything, this should keep it pretty fixed to the ground. Next component, of course, is your power bank. Again, it's like a metal aluminum type enclosure. I'll pull up a screenshot of this. It's hard to see, but this has all the specifications for the input and output voltages and current limits. milliamp hour capacity, watt hour capacity of all that is listed on here. One push button, you push that, it'll light up and show you the current state of charge. There's 4 bars on that, and those will go down as the power is consumed. And then it's got a single USB-C connector on it to plug in your cable. Threaded on either end. They're different sizes, so you can only go one orientation. The smaller one threads into the tripod base. It's very smooth, at least mine is, so when I thread that on there, threads in nice and secure. Nice firm base. Now the top has got a slightly larger thread on it. That thread goes into this adapter that gets mounted to the bottom of the Starlink dish mount, and it does fit the one I've got fits just fine. Slides in there. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Now, as I'm talking about that, here's one thing that I wanted to talk about briefly with the little power bank. It didn't have a place to put that, so whenever I would shut the door or the lid, it would kind of make a bulge on that. What I found is once you install this adapter on your Starlink hub or mount, that's no longer required in the case. You can just leave this thing in the Starlink mount. So then I was taking my my power brick, and I was just gonna stick it in that little slot. Doesn't go quite all the way in, so I might actually kind of push that in and make a spot for it. But once I get that pushed into there, that gives me a place to keep my my little power brick, so I can keep it in the case without it making a big bulge and pushing out on the thing. So let me quickly show you how this goes in there. Now, if you're familiar, the little pole mount for the Mini has a little Allen wrench on the back of it. I busted the little tab off of mine. It didn't hold up for a few uses, but so anyway, pull that off, and then you loosen up this Allen screw here holds it in onto the pipe or whatever kind of mount you're using. So open that up. Now this is basically so you can mount it to just about any pipe that'll fit in that hole. You could thread it on and get it mounted securely to that. So this part, it does have kind of a cammed shape, so it only goes in one way. You obviously want the threads to point out, because we're going to thread that into the tripod. And then when you screw that screw in, it goes into that slot. So we'll pull that in there. Screw the screw back in. Once it's snugged up, and that thing's not going anywhere. Now once you have this will snap into the bottom of your Starlink dish. Move that case aside, and then you're just going to thread this on to the top of your tripod. Nice and secure. Now we'll get the Starlink Mini, and you're going to remove this little kickstand they provide with it. You just lift up the little tab here to release the clips, and you slide that out. Okay, once you got that kickstand out, we're going to get the cable out, because you want to plug the cable in before you snap it back into the base, because the cable is going to go through the base. So there's your hole for the power cable. We're going to slide that into there. It does have the I don't know, I'll call it proprietary. It's probably not proprietary. Little gasket or gland that seals up the hole, so when you plug this in, it can't, water intrusion can't get in there. So we're going to slide that into the plug. Okay, once that's in there, it's sealed. In case you didn't know already, there's the other plug in there is the Ethernet cord. It's a Cat 5, RJ45 connector. So you pull that plug out, and then you can plug your Ethernet in there if you need it. My application, I am probably going to have a hardwired Ethernet cable rather than just the Wi-Fi option. But anyway, that's there. This will be a totally wireless option if you don't need that RJ45 connection once you get this power bank. Okay, so once you get that plugged in, then you just slide that out one of the holes in the clamp. Then you just snap it in. Once you get that in there, now you got your cord out, just a small stub. Now you can coil that up a little bit inside of there. There is a little bit of space in that if you don't want so much wire hanging out. It's not really a big deal. So then you just plug it into your power bank. As soon as you do that, it's going to recognize don't know if you can see that. It's going to recognize that it's plugged in and automatically power it up. If it doesn't automatically, you can just push that button to power it up. And you can see here I've got my blue light. Let me see if I can power this light off. And you can see there my Starlink Mini is powered up. Now you can see you've got a nice compact solution. The power bank is tall enough to keep it up out of any moisture, tall grass, whatever it happens to be around the area where you're using this device. But so it doesn't have to sit down in the dirt. Now, if you're curious, let's see, the length of the power brick is about, I think it goes up about that far. So we're looking at about 9 inches for the power bank, plus another I don't know, 2.5 inches or so for the height of the tripod as it sits. So gets it up out of the grass and weeds and dirt while you're using it out in the field. But that's all you got. Now it's powered up and you're ready to go. All right, so let's talk about the power bank for a minute, particularly its capacity and some of the regulations and some of my personal requirements or desires for the unit. I do quite a bit of traveling, so one of my kind of requirements for the project I'm working on with that I needed this power bank for was that I travel with it. And if you're not aware, if you're traveling on an airline, you can't check lithium batteries in the baggage. You got to do carry-on, and there is a size limit. This one here is. It's technically it's above the limit, but you have to get airline approval if you do it. Basically, the rules for the airline or for the TSA are up to 100 watt hours are totally fine. You can take those as a carry-on. Above 100 watt hours, from 101 to 160 watt hours, you have to get the airline's approval to carry it. I don't know how hard that is. I've never attempted to get the approval. So I don't know what's involved with doing that. If it's above 160 watt hours, it's just strictly forbidden. They won't let you do it. TSA and the airlines won't let you bring those on. This one here, I'll put up a screenshot of this because I know this is really small and you probably can't see it. Essentially, the rating of this, the total capacity, 21.6 volts maximum, and 5,000 milliamp hours, and then 108 watt hours is the stated capacity on this. The specifications that they gave me when I asked them some questions about the capacity are that it has 6 18650 batteries in it, rated at 5,000 milliamp hours each. So which actually puts this at a total capacity of 30,000 milliamp hours or 30 amp hours. But that's right at the 3.7 volts of the 18650 batteries. You're not going to be seeing that kind of output in use, so you won't see that. I did multiple tests of the capacity. I did it at 5 volts and 3 amps, and then I did a couple of different tests at 20 volts, which is where the Starlink will be using this thing just to get the full capacity. And I was pretty close to that 5,000 milliamp hours, just under a little bit, and the 108 watt hours. I never quite hit that, but I got pretty close. So basically what that means is with the printed capacity of 108 watt hours, this technically puts this over the limit for the airlines that you would have to ask for permission to take this on the flight. Now the 3 capacity checks I did, I'll pop up some screenshots here in one of these corners. I'll show you what I was seeing, or maybe I'll put it full screen. But so the first test I did, I ran at I believe it was 20 volts and 5 amps, which is basically the maximum rated output capacity of the unit, to see how long it would last at that. And I got about just under an hour, about 52 minutes of runtime at 5 amps, 20 volts. The Starlink Mini doesn't draw anywhere near that, so that was just an extreme case to see what you could get out of this thing. Anyway, at 20 volts, 5 amps, I got about 52 minutes of runtime out of that, and with that totaled up to about 4,395 milliamp hours, or 86 watt hours of capacity. That had been after it had been sitting for a couple of weeks. After when I first received it, I gave it a full charge, And then, so that was after it had sat for a couple of weeks. I didn't use it, but it had been sitting. So it potentially could have been down a little bit in capacity just because it had been sitting. And then the second test I did, I dropped it down to about 30 watts of output. That was roughly 1.5 amps, which is the average consumption of a Starlink Mini, because I wanted to see how long theoretically it would last with the Starlink Mini rather than just plug this in and let it run off the Starlink, because the loads are going to change. I wanted to set up an average. So anyway, at 30 watts, about 1.5 amps at 20 volts, I ran the test again with my power meter. I'll put a screenshot up here of that completion test. That one, it ran for a little over 3 hours, about 3 hours and 12 minutes, almost 3 hours and 13 minutes. I got a total capacity on that test of about 4,822 milliamp hours, or 95.4 watt hours. So that was a more realistic test of what you can expect while you're running this on a Starlink Mini. Then I did a final test just to see what total maximum output I could get with this. If you're just going to charge some random device, like say a cell phone or something, if you're only extracting 5 volts out of this, I did a third test. And that third test, running it at 3 amps and 5 volts, which you could expect from just about any standard USB device. Some cell phones will negotiate faster than that if you need a fast charge, and it will do fast charging. But that capacity test went way longer. It ran for 6 hours. I got 18,281 amp hours or milliamp hours out of that. For a total of about 84.1 watt hours, and the numbers are different because the voltage is lower, so you're going to get a lot higher milliamp hour capacity for the same watt hours just because of the lower voltage. So hopefully that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, put down a description below it, or comment below if you need a better explanation of that, and I can help to explain that a little bit better. But yeah, so you can get a lot of capacity out of this if you just want to use it for charging any random device. So it's just a nice big power bank you can use for whatever you need to if you're not using it for Starlink at that given time. But anyway, so there's the capacity test I did. Felt like I was pretty thorough with that. If you have any questions on any of that, of course, put it down in the description below or the comments below, and we can chat about it. Happy to discuss. And if you have any questions or want any other tests done, any data that you're looking for, happy to provide that for you. Just let me know what you need. One limitation that I haven't found a workaround for yet, if I can think of a way to do it, I will definitely do an update to this video, but one of my requirements for my application that I was hoping for, that I don't know if I can actually achieve with any of the offerings, but with USB-C, it auto-negotiates the voltage based on which you plug it into. What the one feature that I haven't found a solution for is what I was wanting to do with this out at a remote job site where I didn't have powers. I wanted to set up a solar power bank and charge it while simultaneously using it for the Starlink dish. And with USB-C, I have not yet found a way to both charge and power a device with it simultaneously without damaging either one of the components or the power bank itself. I just haven't confirmed a solution for that that's not going to damage equipment. So at this point, I'm just going to say it can't be done. If I find out otherwise, I will definitely let you guys know, because for me, that's something I would really like to be able to do. Otherwise, I'm going to have to use this for the approximately 3 to 4 hours that it will run the Starlink Mini, unplug it, take a few hours to recharge it, and then plug it back in. That's not optimal for my use case. I was wanting to be able to charge this and simultaneously use it. I don't think that's going to be possible, but like I said, if I find out otherwise, I'll let you know. All my testing so far, I've been pretty impressed with it. Not just saying that because they gave it to me for free. I definitely give things a thorough test to make sure that they're going to do what I'm stating they'll do, and I don't want to lead you guys astray. So there's that device. I think it would work out well if you got a Starlink Mini and you need a power bank solution to power it up remotely, as well as a stand, a tripod to get it up out of the elements. I think this is a good option for you. Check out the links below. That'll take you to the Amazon page, and if you feel so inclined to purchase one of these, go ahead and use our affiliate links. And thanks for watching. I appreciate your time.